The Story of Ayo and the Market Girl. The day the black SUV pulled up to my store, I knew something was wrong. A man in a sharp suit stepped out, scanning the market like he didn't belong there, which he didn't. Then he said the name that made my stomach drop, Ayo. I stared as Ayo walked toward him, her basket clutched tightly in her hands. She looked small, almost scared, and I had no idea why. "Miss Ayo," the man said, his voice calm but firm, "your father has been calling. He wants you to come home." Her father? What was he talking about? The Ayo I knew was a tailor, a simple girl trying to make ends meet. But in that moment, I realized I didn't know her at all. I sell vegetables in Lagos, at the noisy, crowded market near the bus terminal. My name is Chike, and I've spent years watching the city's chaos unfold from my wooden store. I've seen all kinds of people pass by, traders, students, hustlers, but Ayo was different. She came to the market every Thursday morning, wearing a faded dress and carrying a woven basket. She always smiled, not just at me but at everyone, customers, beggars, even the scruffy kids running around barefoot. At first, I noticed her because of that smile. Most people in Lagos are too busy or too tired to smile, but Ayo seemed effortless. The second thing I noticed was how kind she was. She'd stop to chat with anyone, ask about their lives, and even help people carry their things when their hands were full. The first time she came to my store, she haggled over the price of tomatoes like her life depended on it. 200 naira, I said, holding up a basket of plump, red tomatoes. She squinted at them like they might explode. 200. For these ones. They're not even that big. I laughed. These are the best tomatoes in the market. 200 is a fair price. She rolled her eyes but paid anyway. "Next time, you give me a discount," she said with a grin. That became our thing. Every week, she'd come back, begging like her life depended on it, and then hang around for a few extra minutes. She always asked how I was doing, and she actually listened to my answers. Over time, we became friends. Then something more. Ayo told me she worked as a tailor in a small shop nearby. She lived in a tiny room she rented by herself. Her hands were rough from years of sewing, and her clothes were always speckled with thread. She didn't have much, but she never complained. She always found something to laugh about, even on the hard days. One evening, after the market had quieted down, I walked her home. As we stood outside her door, I blurted out, "Ayo, I think I'm in love with you." She looked at me, surprised. Then she smiled softly. "Chike, I don't have much to offer. I'm just a simple girl trying to survive." "I don't care about any of that," I said. "I just care about you." She nodded, and that was it. We started talking about marriage. I didn't have much money, just what I earned from selling vegetables, but I promised I'd work hard to build a life for us. Then that black SUV showed up at the market, and everything I thought I knew came crashing down. When the man told her to come home, Ayo looked at me with eyes full of regret. "Chike," she said quietly, "there's something I need to tell you." It turned out Ayo wasn't a tailor struggling to get by. She came from one of the wealthiest families in Lagos. Her father owned factories, businesses, and land all over the city. She had grown up in a mansion, surrounded by servants and luxury. But she had walked away from all of it. "I didn't want to be judged for my family's money," she said. "I wanted to find someone who loved me for who I am, not for what I have. That's why I came to the market." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The woman I had fallen in love with, the woman I was planning to marry, had been lying to me from the start. I couldn't even look at her. Without saying a word, I walked away. For weeks, I stayed away from the market. I couldn't bear to see her. I kept replaying everything in my head, wondering if any of it had been real. Did she actually love me, or was I just some kind of experiment for her? Then one day, she showed up at my store. No fancy car, no man in a suit, just her, holding her basket and looking at me like I was the only person in the world. "Chike," she said softly, "I'm sorry. I should have told you the truth earlier. But everything else, everything I said, everything I felt, it was real. I love you. I don't care about the money or the mansion. I just want to be with you. I stared at her, my emotions tangled. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. Did you think I wouldn't love you if I knew? She shook her head. I was scared. Scared of losing you, of ruining what we had. But I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. If you'll have me. Her words hung in the air, heavy and fragile. I thought about all the moments we'd shared, the laughter, the kindness, the quiet understanding. Maybe she had lied, but her heart had always been honest. I don't care about your money, I said finally. I just want the Ayo who helped me chase the goat away. She laughed, and it felt like the sun breaking through a storm. We got married a few months later. It wasn't a big wedding, just a small gathering with close friends and family. Ayo insisted on keeping it simple. She moved into my tiny room, even though I told her she didn't have to. These days, we run the store together. Ayo says she's happier here than she ever was in her father's mansion. She's teaching me how to dream bigger, and I'm teaching her how to haggle. Life isn't perfect, but it's ours. And that's enough. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to this channel.